All right, Saagar, your turn. What are you looking at?
Well, Senator Kamala Harris offered a well-reasoned and thoughtful analysis of her campaign, why she's failing. In a new Axios interview, she acknowledged her brand of moderate progressivism mixed with woke identity politics is the exact opposite of what the country wants right now. It was really a cathartic moment. No, I'm just kidding. She blamed her voters for being sexist and racist for not seeing her grandeur. Let's take a listen.
Essentially, is America ready for a woman and a woman of color to be president of the United States?
America was ready for a black man to be president of the United States.
And this conversation happened for him. There is a lack of ability or a difficulty in imagining that someone who we have never seen can do a job that has been done, 45 times by someone who is not that person.
This is so wrong on so many levels. Kamala Harris wants us to believe that voters who twice elected a black man named Barack Hussein Obama to the Oval Office are racist. Furthermore, if we just take the Democratic electorate, these are the people who not only nominated Barack Obama, but also won Hillary Rodham Clinton, who, as Democrats always love to remind us, won the popular vote. Her argument is facile on its face, and it's insulting to millions of Americans. They're not backing Kamala Harris because she is not giving them a coherent reason to support her. She's not losing because of identity issues. Harris's campaign is failing because she doesn't stand for anything as far as I can tell. In fact, her entire campaign seems predicated on standing astride the progressive and the moderate left to appease exactly nobody. The lessons of the 2016 presidential election is that voters need to trust you. They need to trust that you will actually fight for the things that you say you will when the push comes to shove, when the lobbyists are blowing up your phone, when they're besieging the White House, when they buy off your best friend to call you and make you a pitch. That's why they took a chance on Donald Trump in 2016. Probably, I should point out to Ms. Harris, one of the least conventionally electable people in our history. And yet, here we are. Electability is a trust issue. There isn't any real reason to trust Kamala Harris. She doesn't have bold solutions. She doesn't even offer voters the warm centrist return to 2012 that Joe Biden does. From the very beginning, she basically showed us exactly who she was. Remember her spate of hard hearing a few months ago when a man referred to Donald Trump as, quote, mentally retarded, and then she laughed along with him only to say that she misheard the remark? I do. Let's take a listen.
I mean, what are you going to do in the next 1 year to diminish the mentally retarded action of this guy?
Well said. Well said.
Misheard, huh? That was literally the third time in a series of weeks that Harris had claimed to mishear something. The same person who raised her hand when she was asked if she supported abolishing private insurance at the presidential debates in June, only to say she misheard the question and she thought that the moderators meant if she was willing to give up her own private health insurance. Before that, as I previously pointed out in September, when CNN's Jake Tapper asked her a question during a January town hall regarding stricter scrutiny of police shootings, she dodged, saying that as Attorney General, she made it as a practice of not weighing in on bills that concern the matter. A Washington Post fact-checker analysis found, however, the claim was absolutely false, but she said she misheard. Harris refused in the early days of the primary to actually commit to anything, and that is why she has monumentally fallen in these polls. The Real Clear Politics polling average shows Harris with just 5% support. That is a mighty big fall from the 15% number that she displayed in July of 2019. Things look even worse for her in Iowa, where she claimed she was going to move to. The candidate is putting up just 2.7% in the RCP polling average for the state. In New Hampshire, 4.7%, Nevada, 4.5%, South Carolina, 7%. The highest she places in any early state or national poll is 4th place. Not exactly a top-tier candidate anymore, huh? Let's end on this epic moment.
I did expect that I might take hits tonight. But, listen, I think that this coming from someone who has been an apologist for an individual, Assad, who has murdered the people of his country like cockroaches. She who has embraced and been an apologist for him in a way that she refuses to call him a war criminal. I can only take what she says in her opinion so seriously.
That was the same interview, right, Crystal, in which she said that she was the top-tier candidate and then went on to smear
Greatest
Tulsi
hits
Gabbard
there.
this way.
Let me say this very clearly. Sexism and racism are very real. they are very much not the reasons why Kamala Harris is failing. And here's what's so counterproductive about this whole narrative, because this happened after Hillary Clinton lost too. There were a lot of people out there who said it was the sexism. Well, what does that do for the next time a woman runs for office? People have these quote-unquote electability questions, right? Could she really win based on the narrative that the last time we ran a woman, she lost because of sexism? So now you've got the entire Republican electorate smeared as racist. And I guess we're supposed to believe that also the entire Democratic electorate is racist. So I guess the whole country is racist. We should just give up and elect a white guy. I guess that's the conclusion.
That's exactly the implication, right? Which is that we have all this internalized sexism, and then that people are not smart enough in order to say, no, I don't trust you because you're not standing up for anything. I don't trust that you're actually going to do anything to better my life once you're in the Oval Office. That's what it's about.
Well, it's also
and if
very
you just
convenient.
ran on that.
It's also very convenient when, look, after her launch, she jumped up in the polls. The media was super excited about her. In fact, there are a lot of people, especially in the Democratic primary electorate, who affirmatively would love to support a woman of color. So are we more racist now than when she launched and was feted and jumped up in the polls and was maybe a top-tier contender? I don't think so.
She's
I mean, look,
so
again,
entitled.
It's uncomfortable because these things are real issues, but when you use it as an excuse for your own failings, it undercuts the genuine problems here.
No, that's exactly right, which is that she cannot grapple with her own lack of ideology, lack of appeal, and her so many mistakes along the same campaign. By the way, the predominant support of Kamala Harris are white women. That's, I should point that out.
Well, it's Elizabeth Warren who's really eating her lunch.
Exactly. So it's just the entire who is actually supporting her, who's giving her money, the amount of media support and love that she received at the very beginning. All of that just flies in the, and by the way, the own record of the Democratic Party and of this nation just completely undercuts what she's saying. She's just a bad candidate, and she can't even grapple with that. And people hate to see that because the entitlement. It is excuse making. I mean, just the entitlement of which she is owed this because she's the senator from California, completely ridiculous.
Stand for something. Then see how it goes. Next up on Rising, is Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard cozying up to Wall Street executives?
Founder and the CEO of Farvakar Partners. He joins us next to weigh in.